Hi, I'm Don Stewart. In the previous lesson, we took a look at that sentence from The Lord of the Flies, but it's that level 2 that I want to talk about today. What we want to do here is get rid of the level 4 and the level 3 and look at it as though it were a single complete sentence. We've got the period at the end. All right, the first thing we want to do is to take a close look at that and see that level 2 is almost a sentence. What would it take to make it a sentence? That's right, the was. People often talk about, how do I get rid of all the was's and is's and are's and all that? Well, this is often a good solution. So we put it back together, and what we have here is called an absolute phrase. Let me show you how it's constructed. We'll put a little slant right here, and one hand is actually the subject. The rest of it is the predicate. Did you ever have trouble back in school telling what the predicate was? It's everything that isn't the subject. Okay, and actually that predicate is a prepositional phrase. We have a subject, we have a predicate, we have a prepositional phrase as the predicate, but you can put a lot more in that slot. Let's take a look. We can have a present participle, the one that ends in ing. Gripping his hatchet. We can have a past participle, clenched, the ed, was clenched. One hand was a cradle. Take it away, you have an absolute phrase. And let me show you how a couple of real authors use the absolute phrase. Sophie knelt up, her hands were covered, past participle. Her hair was awry. An expression was on her face that Penelope had never seen before. That's Rosamund Pilcher, the Shell Seekers. 3 in a row. And Ernest Gaines. She and Miss Eloise started up the quarter. One was tall and slim. The other was short and much heavier. This is a very interesting one because the she becomes one, the Eloise, I guess it's in that order, was the other. So you really haven't moved very much closer, but look at the predicates: tall, slim, short, heavier, all of which can go after a was. You can probably tell I'm pretty passionate about the absolute phrase. It's the most important thing I ever taught in my English classes. Good writers know how to handle it. And when you can drop down to that level 2, zoom in, and then fill it out with all the description or whatever you want to say about it without using some form of to be. Great writers do it all the time. And here's my challenge. I want you to go out and find an absolute phrase, or 2 or 3. Pick up a book off your shelf. Some fiction, probably, perhaps where there's lots of adventure and that sort of thing. And it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to find an absolute phrase. And send it to me. Put it in the website. Okay? I want to see 10 of them by Thursday.